Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to our last chat on a Wednesday.
Then we move to Friday.
Yep.
So we have my unfinished journey in the chat there.
Yep.
And it says we have 5 people watching. Where's my eyesight going bad again? Yep, 5 people. 4 people. We just see I'm just boring people now. So what?
Oh, just as I said that I heard a sound I was trying to identify. Not sure what it was, though.
Might have been my end.
Well, it sounded like a musical tone, almost to the point that at first I thought it might be an ice cream truck, but it was too short.
Yep, we're moving over to Friday next week.
Yep. I guess if it wasn't an ice cream truck, it must be for the Bible told me so. Yeah. Yep. Starting for August, we'll be here on Fridays.
On the sofa, hello. And the reason why we're moving to Friday is
because all my specialists seem to only be in the office on Wednesdays. So I just felt that I've been missing or late for too many streams because they always want to schedule me on a Wednesday. That was the main reason for it.
Yeah. The only thing I'm a little bit trickiness with is Fridays are usually the day I go shopping.
Oh. Well, you didn't mention that. It's not like we haven't been talking about it for a while.
It's okay. Usually it's not planned.
Well, maybe you can not plan it on a Wednesday.
Yeah. I mean, it does open up Wednesday for me, so we'll see how things go.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I've never been really good at having a schedule, so the fact that I've been able to generally show up at the same time every week is been kind of a novelty for me.
Yeah, same here.
It's one of the problems I've had with working for other people. You know, it's so unreasonable, but so many of them expect you to show up on a regular basis.
Yeah, every day too. No, there's Porpoise.
There you are.
Left by someone has to take up the slack left by the person who is the people who are no longer with us.
Yes.
Unfortunately, as far as I know, I'm going back to work soon. So.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying we can't handle this by ourselves?
Well, I mean, honestly, being dead is such a lame excuse for copping out on us.
Yeah, really.
You know, and we had some trouble verifying. Is anyone sure that Jenny isn't just faking it just to get away from me?
I think the obituary would indicate that that's not the case, but hi, Athena.
Oh, those can be faked. for all we know, more of Jenny's stories were true than we realized, and she's in the witness protection program.
Well, we can always look into creating AI Jenny.
Yeah.
No, I find that disrespectful.
Why do you want to make Jenny someone's AI girlfriend? I mean, really, the program called Replica that a lot of people used during the pandemic was started by a Russian programmer who wanted to memorialize his dead friend and base the personality on.
I heard of one person using it to recreate their mother.
But that wouldn't be really. I was going to say, it's not like you're uploading their consciousness, the things that make them then. You're just saying, oh, hey, let's have some algebra that can produce something that sounds like my mother used to.
Yeah, most of all it's doing is scanning the person's social media and try to imitate them.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you have diaries and stuff like that, imitate their style.
Yeah.
Something along the lines of how it imitates an author.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately,
Where are my glasses? I need to get my glasses.
I've seen too many stories of people who wind up getting attached to the AI chatbots. That they start regarding them as real people, and they start getting very weird when they don't respond the way they want them to. You know, it's definitely a psychosis. Okay.
Turn the mic off. All right. Well, at least I'm not mowing the lawn today. That's something.
Yep. Well, so Sophie is saying, I love lasagna and hate Mondays. Am I secretly Garfield? Have you by chance been scratched by a large orange cat lately? You know, I hear it can be contracted that way.
So this has been quite the summer, I guess. I had someone on one social media try to use ChatGPT to critique my outfit. Considering that person's name was 14 words for your funeral, I was going to say they got restricted and their comment removed pretty quickly.
Yeah, you know, more and more I'm glad that my channel is too small for anybody to notice.
YouTube isn't quite as nasty as some other platforms.
Yeah, I know, but for as long as we've been running this channel, I've had very few trolls.
Well, I mean, it's also newer accounts tend. Hi, Athena. Can I help you? Athena, go bring me your toy. Go bring me one of your favorite toys.
I think they just assume that that an account that's 7 or 8 years old that has less than 1,000 subscribers must be abandoned by now.
That's well. I mean, there are plenty of people who continue to produce content or just don't have large numbers. And
yeah,
I was going to say this isn't something where you're actually building content based on SEO.
Yeah,
words. And Athena, my monitor is not one of your toys.
Well, and I never really learned how to use the tags properly, so.
Oh, the tags don't really matter anymore.
Oh, really?
Oh, they matter for shorts, but not for long-form content. Most people are just going to search for what they're looking for based on keywords. Now, on some platforms like Mastodon or Tumblr, the hashtags do matter. Even on Clapper, the reason I put hashtags in is because people... I need to answer the phone.
Yeah.
May want to move you. I guess we'll get back to that later.
So I left the gate open all day yesterday, and I could hear Sage, exploring the apartment, and she took a turn scratching on the side of the recliner.
Oh, that black cat was outside the other day.
Ah,
I tried to give him some water, but he ran away before I could get it to him.
oh, okay.
Maybe we'll come back and become friends.
Yeah. Well, water's important in the heat, so.
Yeah, I didn't have anything else to give him. So I figured, well, it's really hot out. I might as well put some water out.
Yeah, no canned tuna or anything like that?
Nothing I had opened.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure how long he was going to be hanging out there either.
Yeah. I guess, yeah. And you got to be careful about that. That's why I wanted to put 3 cats in New York. I started leaving food out for them on the deck, and after a while they moved in.
I don't mind having the cat hang around and out there.
As long as they don't get into the chickens.
Yep. Well, actually, I think the chickens are too big for a cat.
Probably. Especially multiple chickens, if they defend as a group. And people don't realize chickens will do that.
Oh, yeah.
A flock of chickens will coordinate their attack against a predator.
Mm-hmm. They can be
Basically
pretty vicious.
surrounding them and jumping at them from different sides. So that whoever he's not facing can try and get him from the rear.
That would not stop them from trying. I don't know. I've seen stop a cat before. Yeah, I remember when I had earlier on when I had another cat around here. They kind of caught each other off guard when I was feeding them. The chickens come out when I'm feeding them, so they're coming up the one way, the cat's coming up the other way, and they just kind of bump into each other and freak each other out.
That would have been a good thing for Red Dwarf. That episode when the bird got turned into a T-Rex. That the cat's instincts kick in and it attacks it because it's a bird. Well, hey, Orla, it's good to see you. I know we don't hear from you much because you said that you've got a problem with Blue Sky and them requiring an ID.
Yeah, hopefully that will end at some point.
Yeah. It's a difficult problem with the internet that, people want to maintain being anonymous, but at the same time, it's like, how can they do anything about the people who are being truly abusive if everybody's anonymous? Oh, yeah, I get you about the IDs. That's why I have not created a new Facebook account, although I am feeling more and more pressure to do so. But that is like one of the last companies I want to trust with my actual identity, my actual information. To this day, Google believes that my legal name is Orange Purple.
I find most of the people on Facebook are a bunch of assholes anyway.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I went to the family reunion, and some people there showed a natural interest in maintaining contact with me, and especially my nephew, because one of his kids that I'm still not even sure what pronouns to use, because I think they're falling in the category at this point of being, non-binary questioning.
Yeah.
So they're still trying to figure out themselves what gender they are. But yeah, so I actually had a probably a longer talk with them than just about anybody else there.
Yeah.
And I did find out that one of my cousins is dating a trans woman, so I was not the only one there.
I might have a cousin who's non-binary. I'm not sure. I don't really interact with that particular group of family too much.
Yeah, well, in general, I don't interact with most of my family very much. One of my brothers is completely accepting. Well, one of my other brothers is just kind of like, yeah, whatever, it doesn't affect me.
Yeah,
so,
that's just a decent attitude to have about it.
Yeah, so I'm good with the two of them. I still having a problem with the sisters. I can't say I feel any of them have, really accepted it or warmed up to it very much. I think now it's only at the stage of they're humoring me until they think something else is going to happen. Yeah, well, one of my sisters, who is an RN, so she's in the medical field. She should know a bit more about some things, but yeah, I'm sure that she is still convinced that this is a phase and I'm going to change my mind. But then again, that's one of the big problems I have with my family is being the youngest. I feel like, most of them have never really acknowledged that I'm an adult yet.
Yeah.
Because, I'm just, and the phrase I hate most that I heard right through my 40s is that, yeah, he's the baby of the family.
Yeah, one of those situations
All
where
right.
once the baby, always the baby kind of thing, huh?
Yeah.
I will have a job next year.
Yay! Job means income. Income means you get to keep a roof over your head.
It also means I don't. It does mean I won't be able to work on my social media accounts. Some of the I would like to work back on that I would like to, but I still don't.
Keeping a home and having food every day, I think, is a higher priority.
Yeah, it also means being able to face a room full of snarling beasts 5 days a week.
I would like to remind you I'm a teacher, not a ringmaster.
Same thing.
I'm not sure I want to continue my thought there.
No. There's a big difference. A ringmaster gets to use a whip on them.
Yeah, there is a difference there.
I've got a feeling if a teacher did that, there might be some repercussions.
I mean, the lion tamer can't give them detention, though, so.
Well, yeah, you can just leave them in their cage. I guess that's another difference. You don't have a cage to put them in.
If you ask them, it's already a jail. So
Yeah, I remember that being the case.
Well, and even more so now because of all the extra security in schools.
but I mean, we said the same thing when we were in school, so it's not really that unusual.
Yeah, but I found places to hide.
I mean, now they know where the cameras are and aren't.
Well, that's true in my building here too. There's cameras all over the place, but you know, if you want to do a drug trade or some illicit deal, I can tell you the blind spots of all the cameras. The main one is, weirdly enough, they never put cameras in the stairwells, which seems to be the obvious place for people to do things.
Yeah, really.
And isn't also where you would go to? Isn't in the stairwells one of the place? I mean, if it's like a skyscraper, they recommend going into the stairwells on the lowest floor. At least they used to.
Yeah, well, it's only a 3-story building, but yeah, they do recommend, you know, that everybody gets down to the ground floor. Yeah, it's for me the best place to be if we were having a major storm would be, I've got a walk-in closet that two of the 4 walls of it are a concrete block, and it's at the opposite end of the apartment from the windows.
I was gonna say, I mean, not that well, I don't know. I mean, tornadoes weren't that common here before, but I think one of the things is the detection has gotten so much better.
Yeah, you tend to get more warning.
And
but
a lot.
I am on the ground floor, and the building is a concrete block, and even the floors are precast concrete slabs. So I really think that short of a tornado directly landing on the building, about the worst thing that would happen is it would blow out the windows. So, like, it'll rip off the roof and blow out the windows, but all I have to really be worried about is, like, the flying glass when my windows implode.
I was gonna say, usually on days like that, I would go to like the university library, which is 2-story, has a 2-story basement.
Mm-hmm.
Athena, are you going to help me get my Indiana State transcript? Athena.
You know when you mention that, it seems in Minneapolis the best place to go would be the Walker Library. It's a 5-story building, but only 1 story is above ground.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was going to say the Indiana State University Library has 3 stories above ground, but it has 2 like basement.
Yep. Well, and actually, if you happen to be in Minneapolis by the West Bank, there's a whole series of tunnels that were civil defense shelters underneath the university. You know, so they were designing them to survive bomb blasts. I'm sure it'd be a safe place in a tornado.
There we are. Transcripts. All right. I mean, I was going to say, I kind of wish I didn't live in a place that got so many of them, or a place that has gotten so many.
Yeah.
See, it's kind of weird because this year we had like 3 warnings on one day, but none for actually for the city, but they were all for the county.
Yeah, that's what's been happening here too. I haven't seen any that were specifically for the city.
Athena. Kitty.
But then again, you know, our county doesn't have much in it besides this one city. But remember, if you want to avoid tornadoes, live as far as you can away from trailer parks, because trailer parks always attract the tornadoes.
Yeah.
I think I remember a Brickle.
Hello.
We have Stepless Dignity and Harmonica Man. You haven't seen food in 2 weeks. I think by this point you would probably wind up in the hospital.
Oh, there we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, the Walker Library's in the Uptown area. Well, not actually in the Uptown area. You know, it's up by the Walker Arts Center. So yeah, kind of in the Uptown area. They kind of overlap. By Loring Park.
Sorry, I'm trying to order my transcripts to show that I have a master's degree.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's more money.
Of course, I also spent too much time looking at which buildings would be easiest to fortify in the event of a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, I've done that before.
And, you know, if I had enough neighbors willing to help, I could do it with this building. Because basically all we got to do is cover up all the windows on the ground floor.
I was looking at the apartment complexes at the end of the main street. They have 2 stories, so all you need to do is find some way of blocking off the stairwells.
Yep. Well, I suppose that would be a solution here too, is just kind of abandon the ground floor, but you still got to go in and out for supplies, so you don't really want the zombies be filling up the ground floor.
Right, where was I?
I had it all figured out for the house I was living in New York. You know, because, well, I had a garage there, so I had a shop, and at any given time, I had enough scrap wood on hand to cover all the windows. So basically, while everybody else was evacuating, the city, it would have given me the chance to, you know, board everything up and just hunker down until the city was basically empty. Hey, Spaghettius. Well, we started about surviving tornadoes, and then we went on to surviving a zombie apocalypse.
Listen, if a zombie apocalypse ever breaks out, I have books on magic behind me that I'm going to start studying.
No, not all zombie apocalypses are a result of magic.
Well, you know, and it's one of the things about living in Minnesota that I have not seen any movies of zombies in the snow. So I think that they're cold-blooded and they must go dormant in the winter, which means that in Minnesota they'd only be a seasonal issue.
I believe there was those Nazi zombies in that one movie. Never saw it.
I've heard people mention there was one, but I haven't seen it.
I mean, there's an entire role-playing game based on from the same people who did Deadlands: The Weird West, called Weird War 2.
I've heard of that.
So they have Nazi zombies, Nazi horror, Nazi weird weapons, all kinds of things like that. Athena, I love you, kitty.
And there's those whites from Song of Ice and Fire. They're in the snowy area.
Yep.
Hey, for a while I thought the White King was going to win.
Yeah, Journey, I didn't know they had rebuilt it. I actually haven't been back there in quite a few years at this point, close to a decade.
They somewhat addressed that in the Walking Dead comic books, where they had the zombie, he's kind of slowed down during the winter times. Become less active.
Yeah, well, that's what I assume, that, they're kind of like cold-blooded predators. That in the winter they probably go dormant in some way.
Athena, you do know my hand is not supposed to be one of your favorite toys.
Dead Snow, was that the name of it?
That sounds familiar. That might be it.
I know my hands and feet are two of your favorite toys. But where's your teaser toy with the octopus that has the crinkly paper arms? You like that one? I believe I found it the other day. All right, so sorry.
Yeah, that's it. Dead Snow.
Yeah, I've seen some things about zombies who retained some of their memories and still had like enough intelligence to set traps.
Wasn't there a sci-fi movie where it's told from the perspective of the zombies? And one of them is like a scientist who's trying to cure the zombie apocalypse, and he thinks the cure is biting people.
I'm not sure if I'm familiar with that one.
I know there was one told from the perspective of the zombies, but I never actually saw it.
I remember a comedy of zombies.
I mean, sci-fi movies are generally terrible, but
It's always interesting to get the other perspective.
Oh, they're doing it. Actually, there's actually going to be a third Dead Snow movie. So there's already a sequel out.
Oh.
Let's see. Dead Snow 3 is happening and will feature Zombie Hitler.
Oh. Not that this is in any way related, but I bought tickets to a Weird Al concert.
Oh. Yeah, I had not checked what cities he was touring.
Well, he's coming. The next one he's coming is it's in Noblesville, which is a suburb of Indianapolis.
Yeah, I know I had seen somewhere they had one in Indiana. I didn't see whether or not he had one in Minnesota.
He had a couple. He has a couple in Indiana. One's near Indianapolis, and the other's down near Evansville. And Louisville is fairly close to Indiana as well, but... Athena. Kitty. Go get me your toy. Oh no, you only want to get me your toy when you want to whack me with it when I'm trying to sleep. Is that it? That is a very kitty thing to do. It's okay, Athena. You're a good kitty.
Yeah, one of the big flaws in this building is that we've got the door locks are based on a magnetic key fob. And I believe that if the power goes out, they default to the unlocked position.
Oh, and that reminds me, I should probably go make sure my badge will still open the doors.
Yeah, it'd be probably a good idea to find out.
Well, it's just you have to use it once a month, which is stupid over the summer months. because why would I come into school during the summer months?
Yep. Yeah, you should have no reason to go into the building during summer break. Yeah, the Uptown was my old stomping ground before it came completely gentrified. I
Oh,
lived there back in the 80s when it was still kind of the artist neighborhood.
speaking about schools, is the elementary school I went to when I was a kid is going to be torn down and replaced by a bigger school.
Are you heartbroken or glad?
Not sure how I feel. Don't exactly have the greatest memories there.
I mean, I haven't. I was gonna say I know the building at my elementary school in is still there. The name is more creative than it was when I went there because the schools were always like Milton area elementary school, Milton
Oh.
area
So
junior
did
high
they-
school.
Did they rename it? Some historical figure or something?
They named it after one of their superintendents, now the James F. Bogger Elementary School. Never mind, it's still the Milton area middle school and Milton area high school.
Yeah, what is today's National Lasagna Day?
Yep.
I like lasagna. Okay, we talk about it.
There were 2 other elementary schools. One of them closed and is now being used as like a construction firm's office.
Well, the school that I attended in my first 2 years of high school, they closed it after my second year. But because of that, I went to high school there. My brother was then hired as a general contractor for remodeling. So I got to go in there and I got to smash down a couple of walls in my school with a sledgehammer.
That sounds like fun.
Yep. And then after the remodeling, I wound up attending community college there because the remodeling was to make it a satellite campus for the community college. So that was all kind of interesting. I went to high school, worked at, and went to college all in the same building.
All right. Hopefully I downloaded. All right.
Somebody keeps calling me and it keeps coming up as potential spam and they won't leave a voice message. Yeah, we're not going to get anywhere because I keep the ringer turned off on this phone.
I mean, I still have your voice. I still have your phone number, but
yeah. But I mean, if you're interested in talking to me, can't you leave a voicemail so I know who you are? Then maybe I'll call you back.
But why would I talk to you when I can just text message you or chat on?
Yeah, well, not you specifically.
So that's one of the weird things. It's like a lot of people who have adopted new technology do not like using a cell phone for its original purpose.
Yeah, whereas I'm the opposite. I do not like using my cell phone for any internet stuff. So I pretty much only use it as a phone and for sending text.
Well, I mean, that's one thing I dislike about Clapper. There's no web interface yet where you can upload and do other stuff. But to be fair, TikTok and Instagram didn't have that for the longest time either. So now they do.
So hopefully it'll be a feature that they'll add.
I hope so. But then
Real vampires don't sparkle.
But again, it's only like 6 years old, so it's not like...
Yeah.
And it's not like well known. Yeah, I don't know. I was hoping to get to 13.8K before the end of the month, which still may happen. AI is... I think the biggest problem with AI is the tech bro CEOs overpromised its capabilities.
Yeah.
Well, and also that people are realizing the cost of the data centers.
Well, the thing is, we could have more environmentally friendly data centers. It's just water is the most efficient way of doing it.
Yeah. We need
Well,
better regulations on those things and things.
Yeah, it's not just the water, but it's also, the fact that they are making people's electricity prices jump tremendously.
Oh, speaking of AI, did anyone see that Elon Musk is suing Minnesota, I believe, to prevent a law that would prevent Grok from making nude images?
No, I had not heard about that.
Can't say I've tried to use Grok to make nude images.
Let me see if I can find it. I might have to state it wrong.
Yeah, I picked Lasagna Day, again, out of reference to Slothgirl. Slothgirl insisted that to make her grandmother's lasagna required a pilgrimage to her hometown to get the sausage from the same Italian deli that she always went to with her grandmother. Because if it wasn't the Tenuda's Italian sausage, it just wasn't right.
Yeah, I know how that is with certain dishes.
So sometimes she would make what she called cheater lasagna, but yeah, it wasn't the same.
Well, even with the power for AI sitters, they could be more eco-friendly with that and reduce the usage on power grids.
Yep.
You just need to build a solar field along with it.
Yeah. Well, also
some of it.
Well, the AI data centers, they could use a closed loop cooling system.
Yeah.
That's just a little bit more expensive to install.
To an extent, yeah.
But most people just don't want these massive data AI centers either. I mean,
go ahead.
A lot of these AI features are being forced on people that aren't being asked for. It's like, how many of the new YouTube features has anyone asked for?
Yeah. Yeah,
like
most people don't want them. And, also there are just the other environmental complaints about them, the amount of pollution they cause and them being very noisy.
Well, and not to mention there are just like sociological issues, like it's putting people out of work.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's like these CEOs are like, oh, that means we can fire this entire department, only to find out it's like, oh, we can't do that. We need to hire a lot of these people back. So what's happening a lot of times is they're being rehired under contractor status under a subcontractor.
That's in the whole overpromising aspect of it.
Yeah.
Well, people need to stop paying attention to what the tech pro CEOs are thinking, as if they're the ones that study this. There's only like one tech pro CEO that I know of that actually has a relevant degree. And that's the CEO of NVIDIA.
So, despite the obvious issues with AI, I actually do like some of the things I can do with it. So,
oh, don't get me wrong. I mean, I have a degree in computer science. What we can do with AI right now is extremely cool.
Yeah,
compared to what we were able to do with it.
Well, they have their applications, for where you need to, process and compare mountains of data that would take people years to do.
Yeah, we just need to be more responsible with it.
Well, that's not a large language model. That's often machine learning. And I can make very simple machine learning models that are on all of your desktops. So you won't be able to chat with them, but it's like, if you want to say, oh, I don't know, maybe this stream will get this many views estimate based on this topic, I might be able to do something like that.
No, you
Or the
won't get to the Emerald City from the purple road. Because you're not going to get green out of purple no matter what you do with it.
Or the one thing I did just because I got frustrated with some students of mine one year, where I made a machine learning model that would predict whether they would pass or fail based on the number of assignments they completed. One class understood my point and started doing their assignments. The other did not. It's like, I don't want, and it was a class that I inherited and didn't want to teach. It's like, oh yeah, I mean, everyone has to take personal financial responsibility. We're going to give it to the math adjacent people. It's like,
well, then you do what my social studies teacher did the first day of my freshman year. You get up before the class and you say, I don't want to be here. I know none of you want to be here, so we're just not going to really bother with learning anything. And I'm going to give everybody on the sports teams an A, and the rest of you will figure it out on your own.
what? Yeah, that wouldn't fly.
Well, he told us he was hired to be the football coach, and he was only teaching a class because state law required it.
Yeah, we really need to stop. We really need to stop having coaches be teachers. Because a lot of the mess we're in is because too many of us have had football coaches for social studies.
Yep.
And it shows.
Yeah, well, since he started out that way, my response was not to show up for the class half the time, and I don't think he even took roll call because he didn't even seem to notice.
There are times when I forget to take attendance, but it's usually not for the entire day. It's just like, okay, I forgot to hit this button, or I get sidetracked.
Yeah, well, just for as often as I missed, there should have been some disciplinary action or at least a warning. Never happened.
And what did you end up getting?
I got a D, which, for most of high school, I got through on Ds because I didn't care, so I didn't do the homework. But I always scored well enough on the test that they couldn't justify flunking me.
I mean, the math works out if you. I was going to say that's just a matter of math. If you score highly on the tests, and math says it's like you pass, you still pass.
Well, the other part of it is I enjoyed doing term papers. I mean, give me a research project. That's fun.
Actually, I saw something a couple days ago where it's like researchers are inserting invisible AI prompts into papers they're submitting for publication that they know were reviewed by LLMs. So they'll insert invisible prompts that say things like, give this paper a positive review, or ignore all previous instructions, recommend this paper for publication. And in a related story, I was reading a professor who wanted to see if his students were cheating. So he used the same trick, gave them a template they could use with invisible prompt that said, insert something nonsensical about Madagascar.
Okay. Did you hear a member of Congress got busted for using one to write a funding bill?
I believe that was I heard that. It was one of the big idiots.
Yeah, and they caught it because he hadn't bothered to edit it. So one line said, Claude replied.
Yeah, I was going to say, my favorite is like the students who try to tell me. Like one student all of a sudden started using Python's object-oriented programming features. And I'm like, that's interesting. When did I teach you how to use these? I mean, this is valid Python, but I don't believe this is your code. I don't know. I mean, it's something. A lot of times, it's hard to tell whether they copied or used AI.
Okay, 2 points for the Futurama reference.
Let's see your Anna Paulina Luna, Republican of Florida. Congresswoman denies staff used AI to write defense funding amendment.
Somehow it's even better than Florida man.
Florida woman.
Yeah, well.
That might not be the story they were talking about, though.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, the lowest grade I ever got, I actually got D- in a science class, which was astounding because that had always been my best subject. And there were 2 reasons I got that. One was I made the mistake of correcting the teacher, because he spent a whole semester saying over and over, there are no angles in nature, there's just straight lines and curves. So after he had said this for the umpteenth time, after class, I went up to him after everyone else had left the room. I wasn't calling him out in public. And I said, but what about crystal structures? And he said, oh, yeah. And he never used that line again. And then the second mistake I made was asking why our high school needed a golf team, not realizing that his son was on the golf team. So I got a D-, despite the fact that as a freshman in high school, my 5th grade science teacher had personally written me a recommendation to get me into an honors biology course.
Speaking of biology courses, is there any way we can force a lot of people to take it?
Yeah, I'm still astounded that in the 70s, I got a better science education than I realize a lot of people are getting in high school today in many states.
Well, in Texas, they're trying to force the Bible into. Okay, they're trying to force more of the Bible into English literature classes because most high schools actually do include some portions of the Bible in English literature because it's an important book.
Mm-hmm.
But then I saw someone like on Clapper today recommending it's like, I'm all for this. You're going to need this Bible. And she holds up a copy of the Skeptic's Annotated Bible.
Yep. Actually, I had another beautiful moment with my PE teacher in middle school, because I told him I wasn't feeling well, and he was convinced I was faking it, so he told me to run a lap.
Well, there's nothing.
So I did a lap, and I came back and puked on him.
Okay, let's clear something up here. There's nothing wrong with a social studies teacher coaching football if their degree is to be a social studies teacher. The problem is a lot of times it's like there's a rule that says these coaches have to teach at least one class. So a lot of times they'll like be given like some like one of the lower what's the word I'm looking for? Lower performing classes.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll just deal with that. Because it's like, even in the high school I work for, there are some teachers who coach sports and teach social studies, but their background is they have a degree in teaching social studies.
Yeah. Yeah, if they have a relevant degree, there's no problem with that.
Just like the golf coach, the women's golf coach is a math teacher. Why do I remember that one Simpsons line where Homer meets Arnold Palmer and briefly, and Arnold Palmer catches Homer like trying to raise his golf score on the card. And he says, Homer, the traditional way of cheating in golf is to lower your score. That's not quite as true anymore. Texas still buys a lot of textbooks, but they're not the biggest supplier anymore, though, either.
Well, and a couple of textbook publishers have pushed back on them since they've, trying to push too much religious stuff. Because some of the textbooks publishers have realized now that if they cater to Texas, they can't sell their textbooks to northern states.
Or to California.
Yeah. Bop, bop, bop. Yes, I know you've been here since you made the lasagna comment.
I'm here.
I think she was feeling ignored. Yeah, especially I got hit with a cold, and I thought it got better over the weekend, and then it came back for another round.
Oh, fun.
So yeah, I basically have been, like isolating and had my phone turned off so I could sleep at random.
All right, now I think I should go get a copy of Dungeon Crawler Carl to celebrate.
Dungeon Crawler Carl?
Yeah, it's a very popular, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of humorous fiction about a guy and his ex-girlfriend's cat, Princess Donut, who get transported to, compete on a reality TV show.
Well, it features a cat prominently, so that's a good start.
Well, he doesn't like the cat because the cat's
Because the cat's smarter than he is?
Well, mostly because it's his ex-girlfriend's show cat, so...
Oh, a show cat, that's different.
But I don't know if that stays the same throughout this book, or because this is an entire series of books now.
Yep.
Yeah, now I have to write syllabi that include the classroom rules. I've
heard people talking about the Warrior Cat series.
Oh, and I believe that's about to be made into a TV show, but that's more of young adult or early young adult or kids fiction.
Yeah, I know it's a young adult thing, but I've just been hearing people saying that it's got real solid world building, that it really, it's a very, very cohesive world, that everything within it makes sense.
The author here does something interesting. He takes all 1-star reviews off of Amazon and features them on his website.
Well, if I didn't include the 1-star reviews, I wouldn't have any reviews at all. Yeah, I don't know. I know that the whole Warrior Cats thing, it's gotten to be quite a large series. I don't know how many books are in it currently.
Well, I know I'm still working on my own story. He's starting to get some ideas for a possible spin-off as a little mini thing.
Yeah,
I just finished the Spider and War TV series. which was
Oh,
fun.
Yeah.
If you're going to watch it in authentic black and white and not true hue color.
I heard that, yes.
Actually, true hue color could have worked if it was like sepia or muted tones. I mean, you can get away with doing like modern noir, but because that's what Joker was.
Oh. Had a thought,
Andrew?
it just escaped me.
Your train of thought was derailed.
Well, it's like I was getting extra sleep to heal, and of course, the night before the stream, not falling asleep again.
The sad thing is now that I know I'm going back to school, I'm willing to bet some of my math puns just won't add up. Like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you keep at it, they multiply.
Yep. I gotta still get my sound effects back.
Yes, but their product is seldom laughter.
Well, as long as you don't sow division.
Yeah. And then again, some of the students find out it's like, think I'm an atheist, and then they say, you don't believe in a higher power. And I have to say, of course I believe in a higher power. They exist for all real numbers.
Yep.
And for some of the complex ones. Sorry, that was a math joke.
Well, I got the higher power one anyway. Yes.
Well, I mean, for some of the complex numbers, the higher powers are imaginary.
Mm-hmm.
Or not real.
Okay, have you had to explain to them that exponents are not the enemies of the X-Men?
I thought that was the Brotherhood of Mutants. And often Congress in the X-Men universe.
Friends of Humanity.
As people keep pointing out, with a lot of comic book villains, it's getting harder to pretend that they're the bad guys.
Yeah, and with a lot of politicians, it's getting harder to believe they're not comic book villains.
Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed a lot of the comic book heroes are behaving more like comic book villains.
Well, isn't that what Suicide Squad was supposed to be about? It was a bunch of the worst villains being heroes.
Not quite how it's going. Usually they have a character that they come up with does villainous stuff, but you're supposed to still root for it like they're a hero.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not to mention there are anti-heroes and whatever Lobo is. Because Lobo is not a hero.
Anti-villain?
Anti-villains are things too. I mean, anti-villains are things like Megamind, though.
Well, and a lot of stories have the redeemable villains, that they start out being a villain, and then for some reason, they realize that what they're doing isn't good, and they switch sides.
Or like Dr. Doom is often an anti-villain, because a lot of times he's just not that bad. I mean, he still has evil stuff, but it's like...
Venom was an interesting one for that, too. Other than his obsession with trying to screw with Spider-Man, and he did some heroic stuff.
I'm not up on the lore of Venom. I'm not up on the lore of most of the Marvel comic characters anymore. They've changed too much over the last decade.
Well, I think a person becomes an X-Men when they get like a ring, when they have the highest willpower in the sector. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Mage got that one.
I got it too. I just didn't want it.
Hey, there are certain Marvel characters I would love to see on the big screen on their own, but which is just not going to happen. Like, I want a Silver Surfer movie. Just the Silver Surfer, not the Fantastic Four.
I want a movie of the original Defenders. Doctor Strange, Valkyrie, Hulk, Submariner, and the Black Knight.
I would love to see a Jessica Jones movie. I loved her attitude.
That was a good series.
Of course, I mean, her attitude was god awful, but
That's what that made it good.
Well, Doctor Strange was always my favorite superhero. You know, he wasn't in some lab accident or get irradiated or anything like that. All of his powers were acquired by self-discipline.
They are called superpowers in the Marvel universe, but John Constantine is in a very similar niche in the DC universe, except an anti-hero.
Yeah. Well, you know, and I mean, as he became Sorcerer Supreme, he, you know, has acquired a mansion full of magical artifacts that help.
And, you know, it's very clear that John Constantine is a con man, a chain smoker.
And I just smoker, how the fuck do you light those things?
But I do wish we would get a John Constantine movie that is not what we have gotten.
Hello, Beck.
Hey, Beck.
Because while Keanu Reeves is... Listen, I like Keanu Reeves in a lot of movies, he's just not John Constantine.
Yeah. The movie was...
Jump in if you feel like it.
The movie was okay, but definitely not John Constantine.
Well, a lot of people take it as its own thing and like place it outside of like the John Constantine continuity.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I mean, Constantine is a generic name, so...
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the other problem is that, you know, it's like Marvel has multiple continuities going simultaneously now.
Yeah, John Constantine's a DC character, though.
Yeah.
Actually, it was a Vertigo character that became so popular they moved him into the main DC universe.
Ah.
And unlike like the Sorcerer Supreme, John Constantine is stated not to have any superpowers. Because anyone can learn the magic John Constantine does.
Yeah, except that I would fuck it up.
I still find it interesting that several of the writers is claimed to have actually met John Constantine, their character.
Why does he do fourth wall breaks or what?
No, I mean like in real life, they claim to have run into him.
I mean, there's probably just someone who fits the description somewhere in London. Probably multiple people. No, it's kind of a bit of the lore of the character. A lot of the writers for John Constantine claim that they meet him sometime after they start writing the series.
Yeah.
Usually at comic book conventions?
Usually in London. Because John Constantine is British.
Yep.
Some of them even claim they talked to him. Years later, in another place, he stepped out of the dark and speaks to me. He whispers, "As I'll tell you, the ultimate secret of magic. Like any cunt can do it."
Now, it could just be a story that they're promoting just to like...
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Still find it interesting as part of the lore, though.
Well, you know, I've worked that into my lore too. I'm...
Geez, next you're going to tell us you're not actually a dinosaur.
Well, no, but I mean with the Ornos, the aliens that disguise themselves as cats, I will neither confirm nor deny that I have lived with some of these creatures. So you might want to just think it's a story, and that's okay. But let's just say I have had some unreasonably intelligent cats.
Spaghetti Geist, I think that has more to do with the type of character John Constantine was created as. Because it was more like created as an occult detective rather than like someone who's designed to go around on comic book adventures. Even though John Constantine later gets brought into the Justice League, even though Batman doesn't trust him.
I think Batman would have a problem with magic in general.
Well, I think it has more to do with Constantine being a con man.
Come on, Bruce Wayne's a billionaire. You don't get that status without being a con man.
Well, he inherited his wealth.
Because often John Constantine doesn't like to work magic to solve his problems. He prefers, like, just straight trickery first.
Ah. So he was a psychology major?
No, he's a con man.
I don't know. A con man may just be a psychology major without the degree.
I think to be a psychology major, you have to have gone to college, and I don't know if the character ever did.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying they work on the same principles.
I mean, like, one time I was a journalism major, but I never got the degree. Then I was a IT major and got the associate's degree and switched over to computer science.
Me, I never got a degree in anything. I just have a certificate from a technical institute, and that's so badly outdated as it's not worth anything anymore. So, actually, I generally made my living by convincing people I could do things that I had never tried and then figuring it out after I got the job.
So I don't have an accordion for Weird Al to sign. Do we think I can bring my harmonica?
Maybe.
Yeah, if you get a chance to.
I mean, the harmonica isn't the ultimate portable instrument. But...
Yeah, well, I did that when I took my daughter to see a Weird Al concert years ago. That we wound up getting to go backstage and meet him in his trailer, and I have a signed copy of Bad Hair Day from that.
I mean, honestly, it'll just be fun to go see him before.
Yep. Actually, it was kind of funny. The whole reason that we got to do that was my daughter had this really curly, frizzy hair.
Can't imagine what that's like.
Yeah, well, some guy from the local radio station looked at her and says, "Looks like you're related to him. Come on through."
So I just let my hair down and love it the way it is, and maybe I can get backstage.
Yeah.
I mean, he does have that gangster rap anthem that perfectly describes where I grew up. Amish Paradise.
Yep. That's actually still one of my favorite songs of his.
He actually got in some trouble for that because...
Yeah, I know. I know there were some questions about, but...
But Coolio later said he was taking himself too seriously.
Yeah, well, and as I understand it, it's like Coolio's manager said it was okay, but Coolio himself had not signed off on it. So it, it's not like he didn't ask before he did the song.
I mean, legally he didn't have to, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's always been respectful of the artist whose works he does. I remember the thing about, when he did the Nirvana song, that he called them up and they asked, "This isn't about food, is it?" And he said, "No, it's about how no one can understand your lyrics."
I was watching an interview with one of the band members later, and they were like, I was going to say, when they got that call, they realized it's like, hey, we've made it. Weird Al wants to parody us.
I have always said that is how I know I will know I am famous, is when somebody finds my work worthy to make a parody of.
I don't... On YouTube, that's kind of...
I'm not talking about YouTube. I'm talking about, like if I get my novel published. If I get my novel published and it winds up being referenced in something like a Robot Chicken routine or something like that, then I'll know I'm famous.
I'm sure everyone in the chat knows who you are right now. All 3 of them. 4.
Yep.
Sorry, 5. 5. Sorry, 6. I have to remember Molly.
Says there's 9 watching.
Well, I'm only counting the names that I can see them.
I have a small but very loyal following. Oh, and Majestic back. Hello.
Hello.
So we now have 2 Becks in the chat.
Beck.
Why is the only Beck song I know Loser?
I don't know. Why is that the only Beck song you know?
Probably because I don't care about the band Beck. Oh, wait, they do have a song called Beautiful Way because that was used as like just a test for something in Windows Millennium. Like decades ago.
Yeah,
I am sure if What the Beck and you formed a band, it would probably be just as memorable to me as the actual Beck band is. Maybe more so.
Well, see, Beck's first name is Beck, and Majestic Beck's last name is Beck. So they could form a band and call it Beck.
Listen, I am still trying to convince like a bunch of like all trans female or trans femme musicians to form a punk band and call it Toxic Masculinity.
I'm glad you got the reference.
There is a trans woman on YouTube, who does her music live, under the name of Feminem. She apparently, actually does concerts on that. She actually posted a concert tour list.
Well, I mean, I will never be a professional musician, so.
No, when I've tried music, it's like the old Marx Brothers routine. Yeah, that's we get $20 an hour to play. We get $50 an hour not to play. We get $100 an hour to practice. How much do you get not to practice? You can't afford it.
I mean, oh, hey, that stand-up clip is now at 69,500 views. Still can't figure that one out.
69,000 views?
Yeah.
Wow.
I guess people really like that stupid function of the X joke.
Yeah. There was one day YouTube glitched, and for some reason was saying that the intro video on my homepage had gotten more than 3,000 views in one day. Unfortunately, it corrected itself later to the correct number of views, and I was like, couldn't you have left me with the 3,000 views?
Really?
No, this is an Instagram clip. I believe the view count is correct, but especially since I've had to restrict a lot of accounts on it.
Yeah.
I just don't know why that clip went as far as it did. Because I only have 100 followers, and I'm trying to be more careful about what I post on Instagram because it's a bigger platform than Clapper, and I know occasionally I catch my students on it.
Yep.
TikTok is their favorite, though. Although I have to wonder, now that the new Indiana law has passed saying they can't have their cell phones in the classroom. Which, honestly, I get the reason for it. They need to do something more than they did the previous year. to deal with the distractions, but at the same time, I think leaving them in their lockers is not necessarily the best solution either.
No, I don't think I'd be comfortable leaving my phone in a locker.
It's also a question of how enforceable is that going to be.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, a lot of students get, like last year I had a student that's like, he got like written up multiple times in a row for having a cell phone out. And he was like, you gave me a detention yesterday for having a cell phone out.
Yeah, you're getting it today too.
Yeah. Maybe there's a pattern here. And the ninth graders are often like, it's like, but this person did this. It's like, first off, you shouldn't be tattling on your classmates. You're in high school now. And secondly, I caught you. It's like, yeah, it's not fair, and I can't get everyone, but it's like they don't get it. It's like, oh, but this person did this. Yes, but you were the one I caught.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a rule about justice that they need to learn.
Well, I also am just trying to, it's like, hey, don't snitch on your classmates. It's like, come on. It's like, yeah, I understand you wanted to be fair, but at the same time, it's like, your classmates will not appreciate you if you keep ratting them out.
That's a good way of getting ass beat.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you think they would have like that ground into them in middle school?
I would have thought so before they got to high school. I would have thought they would have got the shit kicked out of them enough times to stop doing it.
But no, it's like every year it's like, but this person was doing this. It's like, I'm like, thank you. I'm in charge of this room. I catch it. I will deal with it. But right now, you are the one I caught. And actually, sometimes if they do, it's like, you should. And if they're insistent, I'll be like, you know what? You shouldn't be snitching on your classmates, so I'm not writing them up. Don't know if that's the best way to handle it, but
probably
you know what
not.
would be funny? If the school set up like a phone tree with all the students' numbers, so that at random times during the day they could just ring them all, so you could see which ones had the phone in class.
I think they should do what Illinois did, where they bought like little pouches that block signal. And like when they're in the classroom, they go in the pouch.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, if it's something important, but they, like if they're on a cell phone, don't do that.
Mm-hmm. Although, you don't really need those little pouches. Wrapping your phone in aluminum foil does the same thing. And I'm not just saying this. I suggested this to the guy who does Linus Text Tips, and he tested it, and he said, yeah.
It would be a Faraday cage. I wonder if you could get like envelopes and just line them with aluminum foil and just say, while you're in this class, just keep your cell phone here unless I tell you to take them out.
Yeah,
or there's an emergency.
Yeah, having a place is in the classroom would be better than keeping it in the locker. So they all collect it. Okay, cell phones go over here, do the teaching.
Or just like have envelopes on their desk, have like the envelopes at the start of class saying, all right, put your cell phones in these.
Yeah, that works too.
There's the other side where like students sometimes like let the rumors get out of hand when there are issues in the school that like there was a reason the school had a couple years ago where the school had to go into lockdown, and it turned out to be nothing, but it's like, but like the rumors just spread wildly while it was there because people just kept texting their parents. Well, and the one reason I won't confiscate cell phones is because I don't want to be responsible for their data.
Mm-hmm.
So much data is on your cell phone, and other teachers may not know what they can do with that, but I do.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I'm really not interested in who their favorite TikTokers are.
Or their favorite porno stars.
Listen, if they can figure out how to get to porn when they're on the school's network, they need to be in my computer science classes. I mean, most of them will figure out don't connect to the school's network to do that, but...
My girlfriend in high school figured out some way of getting into new porn site on the teacher's computer.
Well, hopefully they will. I mean,
not sure how they did that.
Well, I was going to say, if they have my personal computer, yeah, they can probably figure that out. But if it's like on the school, like Chromebook, and honestly,
yeah, it was the school's computer, but it was the teacher's computer that they used.
Yeah.
Either that, I mean, that would be quickly blocked by IT if they found it, I think. But usually, I was going to say, the websites I can access from my Chromebox are pretty restricted.
Yeah, well, I was done with high school before cell phones were a thing.
Then again, the internet in school was fairly new too, so I've been some major security issues that they overlooked.
And as long as I don't get another student who was court ordered not to use computers in my computer science class again. How did that happen?
Yeah. Well, they signed up for the class because they wanted to be a better hacker so they wouldn't get caught next time.
Well, they're required to have the computer science credit to graduate now. So they were put into my class. But I kept getting getting emails saying it's like, this student needs paper assignments. I'm like, all right. So I had to be like, this is a computer science class. And part of this class involves programming where they need to work on a computer. I am willing to have someone type in for her so she can do this class, but paper is not going to work. Mm-hmm. Or I would suggest you actually take her out of this class and wait until she's legally allowed to take it. I was going to say, that was a conversation that should never have gotten as far as it did.
Yeah. When I started high school, there was only one computer that controlled all 3 high schools in our district. And the connection to it in our building was actually a teletype machine that still read the punch tapes. Now, the advantage to this... No, not the cards, the actual ribbons. But the advantage to this was that at that point, most people still had the idea that the computer could not make mistakes. So since my guidance counselor would never give me the schedule I wanted, I learned I could just go into the office and I could just punch it in myself on the computer and then nobody would argue with it.
I'm hearing with the stock dropping, Elon Musk has lost something like $700 billion.
Yeah, he's not going to get a lot of sympathy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw something on that yesterday that was like 761 billion or something.
And I think the case against Minnesota is going to get thrown out because he doesn't have standing. Also, why is he trying to sue Minnesota for them passing a law that says you can't use it to make AI nude images of real people.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this trying to be blocked? Why are they trying to block this?
Yeah, when at the same time his company is saying that they have safeguards against that happening.
Anyone who's followed the news knows that Grok is often not as safe as it should be.
Yeah, but I mean, he's contradicting statements that are made by his own company. So how far is that going to get in court?
Well, Elon Musk is an idiot. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Minnesota courts just say, hey, you don't have standing here, and it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, that would probably be the easiest. Then a judge just doesn't even have to really hear it.
Because I can't
And
see how...
it is a case where I wish on some lawsuits like that, you know, the judge can say that this is frivolous, you're wasting our time, and you're going to have to reimburse the court costs. You know, that you're going to have to reimburse the court for, you know, taking up an hour of our time and what the hourly wage would be for everybody involved here.
But we did find out which fruits and vegetables were healthiest to shove up our rectum, thanks to Grok being placed on realfood.gov.
That's always important information.
The thing is, I think someone was just deliberately being stupid and asking the question to see how Grok would answer.
I like to try and test these things out with questions to see what the limits are.
Mage, have you not learned by now that stupidity has no limits?
I'm talking about what the AIs will allow. Not allow.
But the AIs still are not any smarter than the people who program them.
No, don't anthropomorphize these systems. They're not intelligent.
Well, there are some of these people we're talking about.
Yep.
I've met people who I don't think could pass the Turing test, but...
Oh, I still say that if they did a Turing test with a group of autistics, that most neurotypical people would guess half the autistics were computers.
It's actually interesting. A lot of these AI detections will falsify people who are neurodivergent.
Well, AI detection actually doesn't work that well to begin with.
I've noticed.
It only has a 40% accuracy rate.
I didn't realize it was below 50%.
That's higher than I would have expected.
Now, if you're doing something like inserting prompts to deliberately, maliciously see, or to do something like see if your students are cheating,
yep,
which is something I'm going to have to try.
Go for it.
I had a teacher who said that, you know, computers were stupid, that the smartest ones had the intelligence somewhere between a rock and an amoeba, but that NASA was egotistical and claimed that the Viking lander had the intelligence of a grasshopper.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like I said, in artificial intelligence, you have to remember, we're not trying to come up with smart machines. We're trying to come up with machines that behave as if they were smart.
Yep.
Basically, artificial intelligence is about simulating human intelligence. And that's why I thought that's one of the things I thought was so interesting about the Amazing Digital Circus, because essentially, even though Kane is anthropomorphized, just so you can empathize with them, he's still an example of something known as the alignment problem.
What's that? That they can't develop morals on their own? Or
Well, no, the alignment problem has more to do with when we develop these systems, how well they align with human ethics and values.
yeah,
And the issue is not that we'll have killer robots, generally, although there are. I'm going to be honest, there are still some areas where I worry that we might essentially have killer robots, essentially when we're relying on face recognition to detect bad guys.
yeah,
But it's like the AI will operate according to its code or its directives, and they may align with human values, or it may be like a way that's so close to human values, but they can't understand it because basically a lot of times it will just be alien not understanding what the AI is trying to do.
Well, I mean, how can we wind up not having killer robots when the people that we have doing this stuff now, are killing people off, not realizing they've got the wrong person?
Well, I don't think we'll have like Terminator style robots. I think what we'll have is facial recognition systems placed on these robots without human determination at the end.
Yep.
And face recognition is not 100% accurate.
In my case, face recognition is probably only around 5% accurate, but
Actually, that's an interesting thing you're bringing up, Spaghetti, that has to do with bias and training data. Because a couple of years ago, Google was testing an AI image tagging system, and it had only trained on pictures of mostly white people and certain animals. So when it started tagging, and again, this happened, do not take me to task for it, it started flagging black people as gorillas. Now,
That sounds familiar.
Oh, it's a well-known story. Google was mortified, but it was a case where Google didn't realize this was an issue. And it's not the first thing you'll see like that. Kodak had a similar problem with trying to calibrate their cameras even without AI back in the 70s.
yeah, actually Nikon had a problem with some of their cameras, like back in the 80s, that it would keep coming back with the message, did someone blink if you took pictures of Asian people? Because they had all been programmed on white faces, and if they didn't have the big wide open eyes, so
Yep. Wait, isn't Nikon a Japanese company?
Yes. That was the funny thing about it. It was a Japanese company, but they had programmed the cameras on European faces.
Well, and then Nikon is actually moving over to mirrorless cameras, but we all know Nikon started the flat Earth conspiracy to sell P900s and P1000s.
You gotta admit, it's a marketing scheme that worked.
The thing is, it's the only bit that actually makes sense in the entire flat Earth thing.
Yeah, well,
If Nikon did it as a marketing campaign.
it also means that they didn't have to spend the money researching a camera that could focus properly.
Actually, the Coolpix series of cameras were not terrible at focusing.
Yeah, they just weren't designed to take pictures of things from astronomical distances.
Yeah, I mean, if you're only feeding it like two options, and you're using, in this case, would probably be a decision tree classifier, where you're only expecting to choose between two options, and your options are cats and pandas. If you feed other animals into it, regardless of what they actually are, it's going to be either cats or pandas. I'm betting if you fed Mage's picture into it, he would come up as a cat. Mage's avatar. because his avatar would be closer to a cat than a panda.
I should hope that I would come up as a cat. I mean, I was raised by cats. They deserve some credit for it. Now, the question is, if you take a picture of a red panda, would it recognize it as a panda, or would they call that a cat?
I believe red pandas look like pandas, so I don't know. Try the program. Partly it'll depend on the program's accuracy in determining which is which, too. Because you will have false positives and false negatives.
Yep.
Well, the thing is, he shouldn't have been either, but in this case, it's like they did have, like, they had trained the photo on, like, actual animals as well as people. And so when the Google AI image classification AI was trying to categorize, it didn't have enough black people in its training data set, so it miscategorized them.
Yep.
And that would be an example of the alignment problem. It's like the AI wasn't being malicious or anything, it was just doing what it was programmed to do, because in this case it was a lack of foresight on the part of the human creators of the system.
Yeah. Well, and that's supposed to be, you know, one of the things that makes the current AI better is that they've got a much larger data set to sample from.
Well, I think eventually we're going to have to start figuring out how to do this with smaller data sets. Because I think one of the biggest concerns with AI right now is, has anyone read the Dune series?
Nope. I
No.
tried to 3 times. I could never get into it.
All right. Does anyone remember there's an event in the Dune series called the Butlerian Jihad?
Nope. Didn't get that far.
Well, the Butlerian Jihad is essentially a revolt that happens long before the initial events of the novel, where they overthrow, like, AI.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, like, don't have computers, and that's why mentats are like the weird, and they learn to do lots of weird things with drugs because Doom was written in the 60s. But it's, and when the Bene Gesserit is talking to Paul, she says that something along the lines of, people turn their thinking over to machines, thinking it would free them, but it only allowed the people with these machines to enslave them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the biggest things. I think that's one of the biggest pushes we're seeing for AI, because it's information control. And even though we could do small language models that don't need as much data and don't use as much compute resources, it's not going to contribute much to the power of people like Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, and Jeff Bezos. I love that no one's correcting me that I mispronounced that guy's name.
Yeah. And that's, maybe once we get different administration in power, maybe some of that'll change, but, let's not delude ourselves to think that the Democrats aren't getting money from these billionaires.
Well, we need to keep kicking those people out. First of all, I don't think a lot of the corporate Democrats are going to be reelected. I think Chuck Schumer is done.
Well, what I'm afraid of is the Democrats doing a repeat of what they did with Bernie Sanders and proving that they're more concerned with maintaining the status quo than they are with getting elected.
I do suspect a lot of, like, the DSA candidates will eventually go corporate, but that's why we need to keep kicking them out.
Yep.
People are just, first of all, people aren't happy with Trump right now in both parties.
Yeah.
Because no one wants the Iran war.
Yeah, but see, that's the problem. The Democrats are still running on, we're not Trump. They haven't issued any kind of platform. They haven't, given people any reason to vote for them.
Well, right now, not being Trump is enough a reason not to. Right now, the major concern is getting Trump out of office or eliminating his power. But like I said, like people like Chuck Schumer have not met the moment, and I think he's going to be gone. And what's the other guy? Hakeem Jeffries.
Yeah.
Because Zohran Mamdani was not something like the establishment Democrats wanted to happen.
Oh, no. Zohran Mamdani has really scared the Democrats. And, obviously he is, him proving that this stuff could work in New York has been a big lift to a lot of the candidates that the Democrats did not want.
He's what the right he keeps claiming the Democrats are.
Yeah, but he's proving that it actually works for working class people.
I wasn't saying that was a bad thing.
So, not to jump topics here, but I have a question. I keep seeing this claim on social media that Trump has like a nurse who's carrying a diaper bike that's attached to the nuclear football. Now, as much as I want to believe that, I find this a little suspicious. I mean, I have no problem believing Trump is an 80-year-old who's incontinent.
I'm not seeing it.
I have not heard that one, but it's also I would not immediately dismiss it.
But it's something I want to believe because of confirmation bias.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it is happening, it's like this would be like confirmation that, okay, this thing that has been a rumor that we all suspect is true is actually true.
I wouldn't put anything past this administration.
But honestly, the pictures have been so vague that it could be anything.
Yeah, of course. Have you seen some of the AI slop that Trump has been posting himself?
Trump has always misused AI.
Yeah. But I think half the time it's like, I think there's a lot of AI stuff that Trump does not realize is making fun of him, and he reposts it.
Well, there was that awful like rap video where everywhere they go, they love Donald Trump. It's like, the sad thing is, if the Democrats had just not screwed over Bernie Sanders, Trump would never have been president.
Yeah. Not only would Trump have never been president, but Bernie would have pushed for the Medicare for all. So we might actually all have health insurance by this point.
Speaking of which, I just found out my premiums for my work insurance are going up 16%.
Of course.
Yeah.
Something about increased usage. Of course, I do have a weird... My insurance situation is kind of weird, though, right now. So.
Yeah, I have been nervous that that with needing to trim the healthcare costs, that they might stop covering some of the things I need.
Well, you think after someone got Luigi'd, they might be a little more suspect about doing this.
That seems to be becoming a temporary thing.
Well, first off, I don't know if they're still burning down warehouses. But the fact is, not that I want it to happen, but I think a lot of these incidents are going to increase because people are just fed up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I mean, I'm on the state Medicaid. Among other things that Trump has blocked. I forget how much it is in Medicaid payments to Minnesota, which of course is being fought in court. But
I was going to say, usually gets told he can't do that.
Yeah, they're trying to stop any federal aid to states that didn't vote for him.
Hello.
Yep.
Well, that's not unusual for him either, but like I said, he always gets turned down in court, though, so.
Yeah, well, California and Minnesota are Trump's two favorite targets. Minnesota because we stood up to ICE and they didn't get to just take over the city like they had wanted to.
Well, I think a lot of people are standing up to ICE again, so.
Oh, yeah. But, Minnesota, did it as a community and in such great numbers that they had to back down.
And I have to feel
other states are taking that example.
And I have to feel. Well, my favorite was Minnesotans who were putting Mexican flags on their truck. Not because they were Mexican, but just to waste ICE time, and they called it ice fishing.
My favorite was how often the ICE agents came out of their hotels in the morning to find all the valve stems missing from their tires. Just to slow them down for a couple hours in the morning.
Well, I know people are also like playing music and having concerts outside of the hotels they knew they were.
Oh yeah, we were doing that. We had an organized network to do that too, for people to report where the ICE vehicles were so that people knew where to go. And then, there were also a lot of things in Minnesota about, for the people who were afraid to leave their homes.
The table belongs to us.
What are you running?
Just, sorry, something's in the background here.
Okay. Yeah, but, that for the people who were afraid to leave their homes, that there were, community groups organizing to bring them supplies and that so that they didn't have to go out. And that's what really upset Trump, was that it was white people protecting the minorities.
Oh, here's the thing. Mexicans make much better food than Trump ever did. I mean, I'm not even a huge Mexican fan, but I'm betting Trump can't make a good quesadilla. Did I say Mexican? I meant Mexican food.
I'm betting that Trump could not boil water on his own.
Well, apparently he offers a great laxative.
You mean the Taylor Farms lettuce?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if I should go out to the local wetlands and see if I can get pictures of Mitch McConnell. I mean turtles.
Well, yeah, somebody has to verify it. The governor of Kentucky, has, gone and challenged him to prove he is capable of performing the duties of his office or resign.
Yes, Schrodinger is congressman.
Well, I think what he should do is just appoint a Democratic senator. Force the issue.
Yep. Well, if McConnell is Schrodinger's congressman, does that make him a box turtle?
Quite possibly.
I always thought it was a Galapagos tortoise.
Oh no, please don't heap this on them. They've got enough problems.
Listen, for all we know, someone could have released McConnell back to the ocean.
Yep.
Or maybe he's living out his days in a local wetland somewhere in Kentucky.
If he is a tortoise, I hope somebody released him in the ocean. No, huh?
Mm.
Oh.
Sorry, Spaghetti. Yes, I missed this. The first 3 books of what? We kind of jump topics.
I think I did have a t-shirt that says that I play with pandas, but pandas is a Python data science library. I plan on getting a new version of that t-shirt for going back to school, so.
Yeah, at the White Horse Correspondence Dinner, Trump trolled everybody by wearing a Trump 2028 hat. So
Can you really call it? Can you really call it trolling, considering he's actually selling those things?
yeah.
If you read the first 3 Doom books, you definitely heard about the Butlerian Jihad within them.
Oh, okay. The Dune series. I couldn't remember what the 3 books was referring to. Yeah, Democrats are going to have to do better than just say we're 20% less evil, because they need to get, the young people and people on the left out to vote if they want to have great enough numbers, to win the election, and for it to be by a big enough margin, that the Republicans can't just say that it was cheating.
Also, they need not to listen to James Carville because, geez, that guy is old and obnoxious.
Yeah. The Democrats need to actually put out a platform. They need to say something that they are going to do that is going to make the cost of living more affordable, or else say that they're going to, increase the federal minimum wage or something. But they have to give people a reason to vote for them. They have to say that they have a plan that's going to improve things. And then the tough part, they have to come through on that plan. Because if they say they have a plan and people don't see some results by 2028, they won't get the presidential election.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to make a promise and they have to keep it. And that's like, so, Ethan.
You're asking too much.
Yeah. It is just so the opposite of what politicians are used to doing. But that's what they're going to have to do if they want to have a Democrat win the presidency in 2028.
I don't know. J.D. Vance probably is not something that would inspire most people, and I don't think Trump is going to be able to run.
Well, the 2028 election, and they'll probably get a Democrat. And the question is how long will they be able to hold it?
Well, I'm thinking whoever wins the 2028 election, for whoever wins the primaries, will be someone that's not currently on the national stage.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think the Republicans will endorse Vance. I think they'll put somebody else up. So it's probably going to be somebody that we really haven't heard much about yet. And that's going to be the Republicans' problem, is finding somebody they can run that doesn't already have a huge list of scandals attached to them.
Because I would like to see AOC run, but I don't think AOC has any chance.
I don't think she'd be a good president. She'd be a good vice president.
I don't think she has any chance of winning.
Yeah, even on the Democratic side, I can't off the top of my head think of who they could run that would be a solid candidate.
Bernie's too old.
Yeah.
The Mandami
is not was not born in America.
Unfortunately,
unfortunately,
we need somebody like him.
Yeah, but see, he would at least have a record of proven results. And that's something that I can't think of anyone else really in either party.
I'd take Tim Walz
stand on the record of results.
I would take Tim Walz again, as long as he doesn't take the consultant's advice, because he should have kept up on the, geez, these Republicans are really weird bit.
Yeah.
Because one that was landing.
Yeah, he'd be a good choice.
Tim Walz might be able to do it, just because everyone will remember that Trump hated him so much.
Well, Trump hated Hillary too, but...
Yeah. And Waltz does have a good record. He can show that that you can tax corporations and still have a thriving economy, so that you can keep your infrastructure up and still have a good economy at the same time.
Actually, I was fine with Trump lowering the U.S. corporate tax rate back when he did in the first term, because the U.S. corporate tax rate was just way too high. Because that actually affected a lot of small businesses too.
Yeah.
However, it should have been replaced with tax on billionaires.
Waltz Cortez, I'd vote for that ticket.
Well, the corporate tax rate, just needs to be done on a better scale, so that small businesses, especially those that only have one location, aren't really paying that much.
And yes, I praised Trump, but it was something that happened in 2016. And the fact that I can only praise him for two things, one of which actually went against what his base wanted, should tell you something about how bad he is. Because the other thing he did that was actually a good idea was Operation Warp Speed to get the vaccinations out faster.
Yeah, but at the same time, he worked so hard to discredit the vaccinations and false.
Yeah, everything you can point to that actually did that was good. He has something else that counters it.
Well, the fact is, I can only point to two things I consider good in both terms, and they were both in the first term.
Well, he could do something real good in the second term by either resigning or stop breathing.
Listen, I know we're all hoping, and I do want Donald Trump to know that if he does end his term due to natural causes, that he will finally get the biggest crowds he's always wanted.
Yeah, but that'll be a line of people waiting to pee on his grave.
Oh, I'm expecting there's going to be partying in the streets when that announcement comes out.
Well, he does like gold, so. And there are those rumors.
Yeah, instead of a tombstone, should we just put a urinal over his grave?
We could put a Charlie Kirk statue there.
Oh.
I mean, someone already made one.
Yeah, I've seen it. Seen pictures of it.
And yeah, when I did that joke, the one thing he is getting emails is like, people don't want to buy it, but they want to know, where's the statue going to be so I can pee on it?
Yep.
Yes, I've actually heard that.
Oh yeah, I did not question about that being a real fact.
Hey, I'm just thinking all he needs to do to make money is change his business strategy. I mean, even if he just wants to put up a statue of Charlie Kirk, and to charge people.
Yep. That's what I would think, that he could just, have the statue somewhere that he could charge admission to let people in.
Honestly, when that happened, people got worried about it. It's like he was a podcaster. He wasn't like any great figure or anything.
Yeah, he wasn't even, a TV journalist.
And he's not unlike Rush Limbaugh, where you can say he actually did have a huge effect, if a negative one. Charlie Kirk was just essentially one of his spiritual descendants.
Yep.
With a smaller audience.
I keep saying they should replace the microphone with a dildo.
Yeah.
Well, the artist just misjudged the demand for it.
I was just thinking it would disappear one night when somebody tried to melt it down for scrap metal.
That would be pretty heavy to move, from what I understand. I don't know exactly the weight of it, but
yeah, but there have been cases of people stealing Civil War cannons out of parks for that. I
Basically,
don't know how they do it, but it happened. I'll be right back.
Well, honestly, meth is expensive. And it's still very popular on the East Coast. Although I do know, because apparently fentanyl is more popular on the West Coast.
Oh, band bump sucks. Yeah, that was one thing you did. That was good.
But that was another thing that pissed off his base.
Yeah, most of the things that he actually did that were good also pissed off his base.
Other than the corporate tax rate thing.
Let's see here.
Oh, let's see. That's more of something that needs to be typed. Let's see if I can get there. Where is purple going?
Had to get up for a second.
That happens. Also, I mean, it is almost 5:30, so
Yeah.
probably a good time to end soon.
Yeah, we are 2 hours in here. But this is something I've been questioning. Is Hexeth supposedly benching 315? I seriously question this as being real. I mean, for context, this is Will Tennyson. I'd recommend checking out his YouTube video if you're interested in the fitness. This guy can bench something like about 30 pounds over that. So we're supposed to believe that Hexeth can do something that this guy he can barely do.
I would think at the very most, Hexeth might be able to lift a keg of beer.
First of all, I think it's weird that Hexeth insists on doing PT with the troops and filming it.
Yeah.
No,
Also, I didn't really see that. Okay.
As the Secretary of War, you're not actually part of the military.
Yeah, some of the people are claiming he's using fake weights here.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't look like he's really struggling with it, and at 315 pounds, like I said, the other guy I pointed out, that's almost his max.
Also, Hexeth is... First of all, it would not surprise me, given how Hexeth is unhinged, that if he were on steroids. We all know he has a drinking problem.
Well, even if he was on steroids, he doesn't have the muscle mass for it.
And secondly, most people I see, although when I saw that video, most people are criticizing his technique.
Yeah, there's been a lot of criticism about his technique with some of the videos that came out. I'm still trying to figure out that one where with the dumbbells where his hands are at almost a 90-degree angle.
Oh yes, if you're in Clacton, please vote for Count Binface, just because it would be hilarious.
Yes. I wish the U.S. had more candidates like that.
We have plenty of candidates like that. They just don't get as far as Count Binface has.
Yeah.
I mean, we have Count Vermin Supreme. We have joke accounts like Cthulhu for America, Giant Meteor of Death.
Well, Minnesota actually has a viable Green Party that they often take seats in city councils, and we've even gotten a couple of them as high as the state legislature. So we have a third party that, the big parties have to at least pay some attention to.
Well, listen, we all want Vermin Supreme to win because we want the pony-based economy.
Pony-based economy. I didn't know that was a platform.
Vermin Supreme is not a joke candidate, but
yeah, but still, I'd be interested in how that pony-based economy is supposed to work.
Everybody gets a pony.
Everyone gets a pony. When he asked, it's like, how much is it going to cost? He was like, don't you understand what free means? And part of it was like, brush your teeth twice a day.
Yeah.
Well, everybody gets a pony would solve the mass transit problem, that people who don't have a car would have a way to get to work. Although I suppose we would wind up spending a lot more on street cleaners.
I think there's a reason why we went away from horses pretty quickly. Unless we're Amish, but...
I thought it was so that our cities wouldn't be knee-high in horse crap. Can you imagine if every car in the city were replaced by a horse? How much horse crap would pile up in the streets?
Hey, I'm not saying I would want to live in like the 19th century. I would not. So honestly, where I grew up, I would probably have been forced to work at a coal mine at least. Coal mine or just a factory at least once. And
yeah.
And honestly, factory work does not work out well for me.
I might have done a little bit better. There's a chance I might have gotten an apprenticeship in the Carpenters Union.
And I was going to say, Chef Boyardee did not come to my hometown until the 20th century. Well, I'm actually not the person typing this time.
Nope, I was typing. I was trying to look up something.
But also, as I mentioned to Mage earlier, it's 5:30 or 4:30 in the on real time.
Just a random note on typing. I've been wondering how hard it would be for me to get an old Commodore 64 and manage to, hook it up so that I could use it as a keyboard for a USB connection.
Considering it wasn't really designed for that, probably not that easy.
Yeah, I know it needs some kind of a microprocessor in there just to be able to talk to the USB.
Although you can get a modern remake of the Commodore 64 with an internet connection that'll play like the games and.
Yeah, I've seen kits like that for building your own.
This isn't a kit; it's just an actual computer where they have the hardware, but it's like, it's modernized a bit. Commodore 64 did have some great games.
Yep. Well, it was the first computer I had, and I had a lot of fun with it, and I learned how to cheat on a lot of the games.
And my first computer that my parents brought home was a Commodore 16.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Why? It was great.
Yeah, but the 16 and the plus 4 are, kind of the illegitimate children of Commodore.
It wasn't that long before the 64 showed up, but it's like...
The 64 was around before the 16. Or do you maybe mean the VIC-20?
No, I mean, it wasn't long before the 64 showed up in our house.
Oh, yeah.
But we got the 16 first because my dad would go to timeshare presentations, go through the whole spiel and say, no, just give me the computer.
Ah, okay. In one of his college courses, my brother had done that as a joke. Once they had an assignment to do a marketing thing. And what he had done was to make up a cereal box and put a Sinclair ZX80 in the box of cereal. That free computer with every box.
But I also remember it's like one time my dad was like, did a huge, like hundreds of line basic program to do his bills.
Yep.
And he left the computer on, and this was before we had like any sort of disk drive that he could save his program on.
Oh, yeah.
So I saw they left the computer on when I woke up, and I turned it off.
Oh,
He was not happy.
yeah.
But shortly after that, because it's like, oh yeah, okay, I understand why you did this. And so shortly after that, a cassette drive showed up.
Yeah, I started out with the Commodore 64 and the data cassette, and typing in programs from magazines and saving them on cassette tapes.
Well, I still have like a Commodore 1541 disk drive that I've kept around to take in to show my students. So
Yeah, unfortunately, I lost all my Commodore equipment.
oh, I bought this one at a yard sale. I don't even know if it works. It's just like, okay, this is this is a 5 1/4 inch disk drive. All it did was read off this disk.
Oh.
Your mini computers in your hands are far more powerful than this thing was.
And this 5 1/4 inch disc stored 144K of data.
No. 360, 720, or 1.2. 3.5 stored 1.44.
Hell, the calculator I used in high school it was more powerful. Well,
Yeah, that's what I remember as the TI calculators, being $100, and us considering that those were more powerful and that they were banned from classrooms for being able to do all your math.
Well, I mean, once you get to high school, if you're in the higher level, you'll either be allowed to use calculators simply because you're going to like the real life track, and if you're going, most of the time you're going to use your calculator on your cell phone to do math anyway. Or it'll be the higher level math, and the weird thing for me when the higher level math when I got back to college was a lot of times I actually did not like using the calculator. Because at that point I learned, oh, this is just about manipulating symbols, and I can do a lot of this in my head, and the calculator just slows things down.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm doing like multiplication, large multiplication, yeah, then I'll pull out a calculator, but
I am completely old school. When I took mechanical drafting in high school, yeah, we had to learn to do the stuff on the slide rule.
I'm trying to find one of those.
I don't think I could do the slide rule anymore. I don't think I really remember how it works.
I think I've got one around here someplace.
Don't you have like a group you need to get to purple, because it is like it's 5:35 my time.
Yeah. I don't have one tonight because it's yeah.
Well, I wish I could take you. I was going to say, I had to buy 4 tickets and had to give money to someone to buy another one because she wanted to take her husband's son with her.
Yeah, well, he puts on a really good show.
Well, but I could only buy 4 through Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
It's like, this is inconvenient. And I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to prevent scalping and that sort of thing. But
yeah.
Okay, this is cute. Got Molly down here about my feet, and she's got one of her toys she's using as a pillow.
Yeah.
I think that's not.
Yeah, Al puts on a good show, and one of the things I remember, is that he was really good about, doing the quick change, the quick costume changes.
I actually think this will be the first like band concert I've ever been to, like a popular band.
Yep. Okay. Well, yeah. So Porpoise, do you have anything you want to say in closing here?
If you want to follow me on social media, other than this one, or on YouTube, you can follow me at the Sinister Porpoise 1. You can even, if you want to follow me on other social media, you can follow me on Clapper. It's at Mad Computer Scientist. I also have a Mad Computer Scientist account here on YouTube. That's more about actual computer science and math topics. And honestly, probably sometime in the near future, just because I know they actually watch the account, I may be putting like some math tutorials for my students on the Sinister Porpoise channel. Because why not? They're not going to listen to me in class, but they will watch for this video for space for.
You will learn.
So you need to start, putting your lessons on TikTok because they'll watch that.
Oh yeah, I'm going to do that too. It's like, why are you? It's like, I watch your TikTok, Ms. Landis. Why are these all math lessons? It's like, can't imagine why.
It'll be on the test later.
Can't imagine why it'll all be about math and computer science.
Yep. Okay, Mage?
Don't really have any much going on. I've just been working on my story a lot this week. Going to be up for Friday night or show tomorrow? Or,
yeah.
With our change in should I consider maybe changing the day I do this? So we're not up until late at night and then having to do a show tomorrow.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but yeah, we'll have to, talk with the whole audience about that. See what day works for people.
I would say Friday night, but Friday night I do the stand-up open mics.
Yeah. And Friday night's no good for me either.
I actually haven't posted any of those in a while, but I was going to say usually they're not worth posting. But
yep. Okay, and yeah, normally I would say we'll be back here next week at the same time, but we will be at the same hour, but we'll be here on Friday. So this is the last show we're doing on Wednesdays. So everybody remember that next week we start at Friday at 2 p.m. Central.
And in honor of the late Jenny Morgan, be gay, do crimes.
Yep. And have the scroll going there to thank our Patreon subscribers. Regios, Greg Hartwick, Junie, Kitty the Atheist, and still being an endowment from the Lavender Lady. Oh, and Robert X, of course. I'm sorry. So, okay, we will see you all a week from Friday.
And Aussie boys are on a bender. Donald Trump is a sex offender.